Hello and welcome to Double Barrel Gaming. I'm your host, MrBooMStickXL, and on today's amazing episode, I'm going to be doing the review for Wreckfest on the Xbox One X. The new Destruction Derby title was developed by Bugbear Entertainment and published by THQ Nordic. For complete transparency, I received a copy of Wreckfest for the Xbox One for the purpose of review a month after its initial release date. I personally want to thank THQ Nordic and Terminals.io for giving my channel a chance to review the new racer. If you're out of the loop and may have missed Wreckfest when it was released this summer, I want to read an exact description of the game from the actual press release. Expect epic crashes, neck-to-neck fights over the finish line, and brand new ways for metal to bend. These are the once-in-a-lifetime moments that you can only achieve in Wreckfest, with its true-to-life physics simulation crafted by the legendary developer Bugbear, who also brought you Flat Out 1 and 2 and Ultimate Carnage. Burn rubber, shred metal in this ultimate driving playground. Now for what I enjoyed about Wreckfest. The first thing that comes to mind is the way the damage stays on the vehicle while you're driving around the track. The damage is so severe at times, it forces the player to change the way they operate the vehicle until the race is over. The parts that are ripped off of each vehicle stay on the track and become a hazard for players to avoid. I've seen vehicles who were running in first place run over a piece of jagged metal of a fender and actually crash. And because it's a Destruction Derby type title, this happens more often than not and makes the player really watch the road on every turn. The control is spot on even when your car is badly damaged, and that's where the fun begins. Holding back when your vehicle is nearly destroyed and watching the other AI opponents crush each other is sometimes a fantastic strategy. The tracks in the standard edition are varied enough that they include oval race tracks, figure 8 tracks, and a big ring for the Destruction Derby aspects of the game. Graphically, the game is solid and up to 2019 standards, but the real standouts here are the damage mechanics on each vehicle as well as the very detailed tracks. And what's interesting is because there are tires set up to prevent crashes on turns, when those tires are hit, they fall onto the road, causing hazards for other drivers. It's these little details that make Wreckfest stand out from the rest of the pack. There are loads of different races to compete in, and in order to move on to the next championship bracket, you need to gain enough points. There are a total of 5 race brackets that you can unlock, so you start out in the regional juniors, then you move on to the national pros, followed by the challengers. After that, you unlock pro internationals, and finally, the world masters. As you play through the set of races, challenges, and derby events, you gain in-game money that allows you to upgrade everything from your tires all the way through the engine, as well as numerous paint options for you to do when you get bored of a particular paint scheme. Bugbear definitely went the way of wacky when it comes to what you can actually drive in the game. They go from your standard cars, which of course are your #1 choice, but you can also drive lawnmowers, school buses, and couches. Now I'd like to discuss what I didn't like about Wreckfest. The AI is a huge problem, and I waited to do this review in hopes that they would patch it. I'm a very decent racer, and my skills in many of the racers of today are certainly above average, though in Wreckfest I found myself coming in between 8th and 14th place, even when I was doing great. To make sure I hadn't lost any of my skills, I tried the lowest level of difficulty and I was still coming in 5th place. The rubber banding AI was downright relentless, and even though I've gotten used to it, I still think a patch could fix it. The other few issues that were bothersome but didn't ruin my experience was the long loading screens. Sometimes it felt like a lifetime waiting for the game to load to the next track. Another small complaint was the way the game held back giving you new cars to add to your garage. Unfortunately, this always felt as if they were trying to push you towards the DLC store that is literally right in your face when you load up the game. Even with the small gameplay related issues that I mentioned just a minute ago, there's still a lot to enjoy about Wreckfest. The game retailed for $49.99 for the standard edition, and the deluxe edition will run you $59.99, which also included the season pass and all future DLC. If you're interested in the gritty destruction derby style racer, it's currently on sale at Amazon.com for $33.99. Overall, I enjoyed my time with Wreckfest despite the few issues I had with the core game. The graphics were very well done, the sound of the crunching metal was awesome to hear, along with the soundtrack that included everything from techno to heavy metal tracks. The control was spot on, and having to drive your vehicle a different way after being smashed was not only very challenging, but fun at the same time. After my time with Wreckfest from Bugbear Entertainment and published by THQ Nordic, I'm happy to say that I scored it an 8.0 out of 10. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Double Barrel Gaming. If you enjoyed today's video review of Wreckfest by Bugbear Entertainment, hit that like button, share this video on social media, and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks again for watching. Have an awesome day.